I want to talk to you about businessloans.com. And the big question is, should you actually apply for a business loan on this platform this year? What are the possibilities? How much can you potentially actually get? So let me first define for you what businessloans.com really is, okay? So businessloans.com actually is an online lending marketplace. So this is not a direct lender. No, this is a lending marketplace that basically connects you as a small business owner to business funding options through a network of lenders. So what happens here is that on businessloans.com, you have lenders such as banks, such as credit unions, big banks, small banks. You also have alternative lenders, but also online lenders who are part of that network. Okay, so businessloans.com is kind of similar to lendio.com, kind of similar to clarify.com, similar to NBC, National Business Capital. So, and businessloans.com actually is an alternative lender. That's how they define themselves. So, if for any reason you're having a hard time getting a loan, getting a business loan from traditional banks, from credit unions, from CDFIs, from SBA lenders, it's just better to actually reach out to businessloans.com. Okay, so and their job is to help you get a loan real fast, and they do this by matching you to direct lenders. And the platform also offers a self-service model where you can complete a single application and actually get offers from various lenders. And you can then select a funding option and work with that specific funder to actually finalize the deal. So that's pretty good from a flexibility point of view. And you can complete the process independently or work with a representative to finalize the loan application process and review actually the available lenders. So once you actually match with a lender, the company's job is complete and you get handed off to that funder. So that's pretty important. And the company actually started in 2020, like during COVID. That's when they launched. Okay, so but so far they've been kicking ass like big time, and they are available actually nationally. So they're available in all 50 states, including the District of Columbia. So they're headquartered in actually Charleston, South Carolina. So that's kind of cool. So how does businessloans.com work this year? What happens here is that business loans actually they have devised, they have engineered a streamlined loan application, and the loan application actually is pretty fast. It's pretty short too. It takes about 2 to 3 minutes. The company itself has an algorithm that uses 13 to 15 data points about the business to match you to lenders that best suits the business's funding needs. Okay, and you can complete actually, as a matter of fact, you can complete the entire process without speaking to a representative. But loan specialists are always available. So just so you just need to be aware of that. And this marketplace's lender partners provide funding between 5,000 all the way to $3 million. That's pretty good. Okay, and so businessloans.com actually has four main categories of funding programs. You have short-term loans, you have long-term loans, you have business lines of credit, and you also have MCAs, merchant cash advances. So if you're looking for a merchant cash advance, businessloans.com can really help you out. Not a problem. Okay. I mean, MCAs technically are not loans, but rather business to business transactions, right? So those are based on your revenue. But again, it is what it is. And so what happened with MCAs is that the funder purchases a percentage of a company's future receivables at a discount for a large lump sum of cash. So this is kind of cool. And so when I say short-term loans versus long-term loans, short-term loans are actually they do have a repayment window below 24 months, and long-term loans can go all the way to 20 years. So, but usually on average, what you get on businessloans.com, You have 5 to 10 years. So let me talk to you quickly about the qualifications that you need to have for businessloans.com. So the thing is, one of the advantages of the marketplace lender is that the minimum qualifications to apply are very low. So there is no minimum credit score requirement. So that's kind of cool. In other words, even if you have no credit, even if you have a 300 as FICO score, you can still be funded as long as you have a solid business information. Now, there are two minimum qualifications that you need to really think about this year. Time in business, 6 months. So if you are a brand new startup, you're not going to be funded through businessloans.com. They want you to really be in business for a while. And also the annual revenue, $100,000. Okay. So it goes from 50 grand all the way to 100 grand. Okay. So now, of course, because this is a lender network, the conditions might be different. Okay. For instance, the company also doesn't publish information on interest rates or fees for its products. It also doesn't provide terms or specific details on the structure of its small business loans. Okay. Also, it doesn't provide customer service operating hours. So this is something to really think about. Okay. And this can be a little confusing to many folks. So while it doesn't provide cost information, most alternative lending options are more expensive, especially if you have a low credit score, right? I mean, of course, you are getting businessloans.com is passing on your info to third party lenders, but that lender is going to look at your FICO score anyway. So, credit challenged small business owners will usually pay higher interest rates. This is just how it is. This is not just on businessloans.com. You also have it everywhere. You have it on lendio.com. You have it on NBC. Nationalbusinesscapital.com. You have it on clarify.com. I mean, whatever. So you have it everywhere. Okay, this is important to really pay attention to. Now, if you want to reduce the APR, maybe it's just better to collateralize the loan. I mean, if you provide collateral, the lender might be willing to reduce the APR for you. So, how do you apply to businessloan.com this year? The thing is that if you go to businessloan.com, you are basically have a very user-friendly platform. Okay, you can actually complete the application in 3 minutes or less, 2 to 3 minutes, and then from there, there is an algorithm. Businessloans.com has an algorithm that will match you to the lenders that suit your profile and funding needs. And but you can also call the company directly for assistance completing the application. So the businessloans.com rep can provide personalized guidance instead of depending solely on the company's algorithm. This is kind of cool. And now, if you reach out to a business loan rep, basically they'll ask you a few questions. So they might ask you about your revenue. They might ask you about time in business. They might ask you about cash inflows, cash outflows. They might ask you about DTI, debt to income ratio. Okay. Now, there are some questions you actually might want to ask businessloans.com, but also the ultimate funder, the ultimate lender, the ultimate bank or credit union that you want to borrow from. You can ask them how often are payments due, daily, weekly, semi-weekly, or monthly. What is the interest rate or factor rate? What fees are applied? Origination, documentation, maintenance, etc. What is the penalty for a late payment? You also want to know whether or not the lender offers an early payoff discount, right? Some kind of incentive for you to pay early. Are there any prepayment penalties? Can you set up automatic payments to avoid scheduling or missing payments? This could be very interesting from a streamlining point of view. Is there a renewal process? How much must I pay before I can renew? And do you allow actually stacking? In other words, taking on more than one loan at a time. And do you report on time? Do you report on-time payments to the major business credit bureaus? Right. So Experian, Equifax, and Dun and Bradstreet, especially if you are trying to build business credit and you get a loan through businessloans.com. Big question is, can they help you? Can the lender help you actually report the data to the business credit bureaus? So, what are the advantages of businessloans.com? Let me really talk to you about that. So, basically, I love the speed. You will love the speed of application. Okay, so basically, you can complete the application within a few minutes. So that's pretty good because nobody has time nowadays. But sometimes you don't want a lengthy application process. So very short. I said this before. 2 to 3 minutes. They are good. You're also looking at the fact that there is no minimum FICO score. So if you have a 300 FICO score, you can still get funded. Or okay, so whether you have 300 or 850 FICO score, you can be funded, and also you don't have to interact with anyone to apply, but you have the option of guidance from a customer service rep should you require one. Okay, so this is kind of cool. You are able to get things done fast. I mean, you also get a very large funding range. Can you imagine that? You have 5,000 all the way to $3 million. Okay, so the broad funding range can meet the needs of your small business, my small business, or let's say a wide range of small businesses. So this is kind of cool from a scalability point of view. So what about the disadvantages of businessloans.com? Well, basically, you gotta have a business at least 6 months in operation. So, but also have $100,000 in annual revenue. So this is important because businessloans.com lending partners want to reduce the risk of default. Now, those thresholds that I just gave you are much more lenient than traditional lenders, but many alternative lenders work with younger and smaller businesses, and the funding time can take longer than most alternative lending platforms. While there are some fast funding options. Receiving your funds could actually take up to a week. So this is something to really be aware of. If you need funds in an emergency, maybe businessloans.com is not the right partner for you this year. So something to really chew on, really. So what are the pros and cons here? If you were to consider a businessloans.com this year, what are the pros and cons? You have the fact that I think I've said this before, but this is so true. You are able to get anywhere from 5,000 to $3 million through a program that matches you to multiple lenders, right? So you don't have to apply individually to all those lenders. You have a centralized approach to really take your data and blast it, okay, quote unquote, blast it over the network of lenders. You have the option of self-service or connecting with a rep. This is kind of cool, and multiple loan options are available. So on the flip side, it's an important element. You have to really, I mean, you have to grapple with the lack of transparency on costs and terms because businessloans.com is not really clear on that front. It can take up to a week to receive funding. I mean, this was problematic during COVID. I mean, businessloans.com was actually born during COVID, and you know they saw the need for faster funding. They saw the need for faster approvals, and maybe that's one of the reasons why they actually incorporated. But nowadays, 5 years on, they're still making the mistake of not having enough liquidity to actually fund loans faster. So this is something to really be aware of if you want to go through them. And also, if you are a brand new startup, like a brand new, no revenue, don't go with businessloans.com. They're going to reject your application. Okay, they want you to really they want you to generate some funding before actually reaching out to them. So that's, I mean, it is what it is. Especially, this is their business model, just to make sure they are taking less risk. So this is something to really think about. And what I want to say also is that if you want to go with businessloans.com, sorry about that. Let me just drink some water. So if you want to go with businessloan.com, you want to really have alternative lenders. Okay, so keep one or two lenders in mind just in case businessloans.com doesn't pan out. So basically, before I close to this conversation, if you think about businessloans.com, I want to insist on the fact that this is a legit business that actually launched in 2020. So this is actually a legit online business lending marketplace. Okay, it's triple B accredited, and it has an A rating on that site. Triple B, Better Business Bureau, and also if you go on Trustpilot, you see businessloans.com there as well. Okay, so on Trustpilot, for instance, they have received 4.8 out of 5 on more than 100 Trustpilot reviews, which is relatively low or insignificant, but the company is so new that they might have something on their end actually. Okay, something to really think about. Also, what I want to say here is that don't forget that you have alternatives. Okay, businessloans.com is pretty great. They have done pretty well in the last 5 years. They'll take care of you. But if for any reason they are not able to take care of you, just go to others. You have a lot of business lending marketplaces out there, or you can just go to your regular bank, to your traditional bank. Maybe it's about time to renew ties with that traditional bank that you've been with for years now, or same thing with credit union. I mean, you have a lot of great credit union loans out there, credit union business loans out there. You have a lot of credit cards, a lot of bank products out there. So that's really good. I mean, you have a lot of possibilities. By the way, you also have alternative forms of financing. If for any reason you can't get business loans through businessloans.com, or if you can't get like a merchant cash advance, you can try to have like a invoice factoring. You can have invoice financing. You can have other forms of financing, or maybe even business financing. That way, you're able to really know what's happening, and you are able to also anticipate things to make them work in your favor. So, in conclusion to this conversation, I spoke to you about businessloans.com. I defined what the platform is, how do their loans work out, what are the qualifications, how to apply, what are the advantages and disadvantages, and finally, the pros and cons. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.